we limit Hanumanji only to bhakti. That, he will give you all the powers, he will bless you. But you said there's a part of him which is beyond bhakti. How do you see him beyond bhakti?
So Valmiki ji tells us Hanumanji has these 4 qualities which ensure that he is successful in whatever he takes up.
Okay.
These 4 qualities are Dhriti, Drishti, Daksha and Mati.
We often hear sages and saints say that wherever Ram Katha is recited, Hanumanji is present. Why do you think is this belief so strong?
Now obviously then where the Ram Katha is happening, Hanumanji has to be there. In that sense, that Buddhi Tattva and the Bhakti Tattva, every time you remember Sri Ram, that Tattva is the Hanuman Tattva. Right? Because he is the one who's spreading that tattva. He is the one ensuring that the tattva comes into you and me. If I go back and I tell them that I couldn't find Sita ji, everybody will die. So let me not go back. Instead, let me only die here. Let me give up my life here. Because what's the point?
Such thoughts?
He had such thoughts. So that's what. So he's so real.
Really?
Yeah.
Hanumanji
had these thoughts. This is Valmiki Ramayana.
Hello, this is Rangoli Sharma with you and welcome back to your favorite spiritual podcast, Speaking Tree. Another day and I've brought to you another exclusive episode of our English series, Mystic Mind. So many of you believe that Mahabharata and Ramayana are mythology. But the guest who has joined me today, she believes that they're history more than mythology. In today's discussion, we've talked about the powers of Hanumanji through the lens of history and not mythology. If you believe you are a true devotee of Hanumanji and if Hanumanji is your Ishtadev, then this is the podcast for you. In today's discussion, we've talked about who is Hanumanji actually through the lens of Ramayana, like Valmiki's Ramayana. Why is he so powerful? How does he show his blessings in his devotee's life? How can you attract his blessings in your life? Is he really a Rudra avatar of Shiva? And why is Hanuman Chalisa so powerful? But before starting the podcast, do let me know in the comment section whether you are his true devotee or you consider him as your Ishtadev. And the guest I would like to introduce to you today is a renowned author. She writes on Mahabharata and Ramayana. I would like to welcome Ami Ganatra. Ma'am, welcome to Speaking Tree.
Namaste Rangoli, very happy to meet you.
Oh, our pleasure, ma'am. And I'm sure that it's going to be a very insightful episode today. So, as I told in the introduction itself, that today we are going to talk about one of the most revered figures in mythology, Hanumanji. But before that, I would like to tell a little anecdote from my own childhood. How did Hanumanji show up in my life? So, in one of the summer vacations, a cousin of mine told me that, he remembers Hanuman Chalisa by heart. And I told him that, in the next vacations, I'm going to recite it to you. And from then only, I've been reading Hanuman Chalisa. And it's from class 5th to 6th.
Wow.
So that's how Hanumanji's grace came into my life. And I can so strongly feel it. And whenever there is an episode about Shivji or Hanumanji, I think there's another excitement in me, which I think today is also showing up. So as we say that, Hanumanji is one of the 7 Chiranjeevis, the immortals. He is still alive.
Right.
Why do you think he is so powerful? What do different traditions of Ramayana, from Tulsidas to Valmiki's, they talk about his source of strength?
So I must say you're very blessed to find, or rather Hanumanji found you when you were so young.
Yes.
And yes, you're very right. Hanumanji has always generated a lot of respect, a lot of awe in people, right? And that is why a lot of stories have been told about him. Now, as you know, my expertise is in Itihas. So for me, Hanumanji is not a mythological character. For me, Hanumanji is an Aitihasic character. In the sense, Hanumanji was real, not just a belief system. So mythology doesn't mean false. Yeah? Mythology just means it may or may not be real, but it is a belief system. For me, Hanumanji is real. Why? Because Hanumanji is mentioned in our Itihas, which is Valmiki Ramayana. The history of Sri Ram, the life of Sri Ram, which was first narrated to us by Valmiki ji, that is where Hanuman ji is first mentioned.
Okay.
And Hanuman ji's role has been instrumental in making the life purpose of Sri Ram come to reality. Now, what was his life purpose? We say Sri Ram and Sri Krishna are avatars.
Yeah.
And why do avatars happen? Yada yada hi dharmasya. When Krishna says, he says, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. For establishing dharma, for establishing a dharmic society, a righteous society, a virtuous society, which leads to prosperity and progress and happiness of all its people.
Yeah.
To establish a society like that. Now, how do you establish a society like that? If there are people who are leading to destruction in the society, if they are causing harm in the society, if they are troubling innocence in the society, those people need to be eliminated. Those
Absolutely.
people need to be destroyed. Otherwise, dharma will not happen, right? So, both Sri Ram and Sri Krishna have come to establish such a virtuous society by taking out people who were creating destruction in the society. Ravan in Ramayana and the Kauravas in Mahabharata, right? But to make it happen, the Vanar Sena of Sugriv and Hanumanji, they've played a big role. So if we say they became nimittas, they became instruments in the divine will. And that is why Hanumanji matters so much. For Hanumanji, Valmiki ji tells us that he was buddhimatam varishtham, the best amongst all the intelligent ones. He's extremely smart. He's extremely clear in his head about what to do, and maybe at some point we'll discuss some of those stories.
Yeah.
So, if Hanumanji wouldn't have been there, we wouldn't, maybe Sri Ram would have still done it, but it might have been way more difficult. And Valmiki ji tells us that the Vanaras themselves, they took birth on the planet Earth to help Sri Ram in his cause. So that's the importance of Hanumanji. And as you said that he's one of the Chiranjeevis, right?
Yeah.
So what does Chiranjeevi mean? One is, as we believe, the immortals.
Yeah.
But Chiranjeevi also means people who've lived long enough. Now, why do we believe Hanumanji has lived long enough? Because the story of Sri Ram has to prevail. So Valmiki ji says that, so when Valmiki ji is inspired to write the Valmiki Ramayana, to compose the Valmiki Ramayana, or rather to document the life of Sri Ram, Brahmaji, so the story goes that Brahmaji inspires Sri Ram, and he inspires Valmiki ji to document the life of Sri Ram. And he says, this story that you write, the itihas that you write, how would it be? Yavat sthasyanti girayaha saritahcha bhubi sthale, dharati sthale, sorry. So as long as the mountains stand, as long as the rivers flow, this story of Sri Ram, Lokeshu Prachalishati, the story of Sri Ram will prevail in the society. How will it prevail? So we believe it prevails through Hanumanji. It is he who ensures that the story of Sri Ram, the Ram Nam Chaitanya, stays alive in the society.
And Hanumanji is the Nimith, as you said.
Hanumanji is the Nimitta for that.
Ma'am, you also mentioned, as we were talking off the camera, that we limit Hanumanji only to bhakti. That, he will give you all the powers, he will bless you. But, you said there's a part of him which is beyond bhakti. How do you see him beyond bhakti?
If you remember, recently, our foreign external affairs minister, Jaishankar ji, he said something very interesting in one of the interviews. He said, Hanumanji is one of the best ambassadors. There is no better ambassador than Hanumanji. How to manage foreign relations, how to be a good ambassador, you have to learn from Hanumanji. So why is he saying that? And that's the aspect which I was talking about. Is he a great Sri Ram devotee and bhakta? Definitely. But that is one part of him. What Hanumanji has done in Valmiki Ramayana is, he has shown his intellect, he has used his intellect, he has used his buddhi to achieve what he has. And that is why, as I mentioned just before, that he is called Buddhimatam Varishtham, the greatest amongst the Buddhimanas, the greatest amongst the intelligent ones. So Valmiki ji tells us, Hanumanji has these 4 qualities, which ensure that he is successful in whatever he takes up.
Okay.
These 4 qualities are Dhriti, Drishti, Daksha and Mati. Now, Mati is intelligence. You need intelligence. Buddhi to chahiye. You need buddhi to get whatever, to accomplish whatever you have to. The second he says is Drishti. Drishti means vision.
Yeah.
Vision means you should be able to see long term. Only then you can plan, right? If you can't see long term, if you can't see what's going to happen, if I do this one activity, what else will happen next? How will it turn out? You need that vision for this. Most leaders that we talk about, what do we say? They have a long-term vision, right? This is this drishti with Hanumanji has. And how does it show? I will take an example at some point and tell you. So the vision. Third is, if you have a vision, you need to have the sankalpa, the resolution, the resolve to see that vision materialize, right? How does it happen? One, through courage. Second, through patience. Firm resolve, how long it takes, however long it takes, however tough is it, I will see it to completion. That is dhriti. And the fourth is, you can have all your vision, you can have your patience, but are you actually able to convert it into action? Lot of people have big dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, but jab karne ka aata hai, tab kuch nahi. If they have to do it in action, they cannot do it. So they don't have the skill to translate the vision into an activity to get it done. Hanumanji has that too. He has the skill to implement. So whatever he decides, he has the skill to actually do it. Now, if any person has these 4 qualities, they will obviously succeed. These are the 4 qualities you want in any leader. These are the 4 qualities you want in any person who's doing any activity if that person has to succeed. You take anybody, aap sports se le lo, you look at Sachin Tendulkar. For this generation, Virat Kohli, Dhoni, right?
Yes.
All of them. Or you look at politicians, Modi ji. You look at anyone, if they have to be successful, they need these 4 qualities. And Valmiki ji tells us these are the 4 most important qualities that Hanumanji has. In fact, when Hanumanji and Sri Ram meet for the very first time, now I'm talking about Valmiki Ramayana. So what happens is, Sita ji has been kidnapped and Sri Ram ji is searching for her. And he's told by Kabandha that you please go to Pampa Sarovar where Sugriv and his friends are there, his ministers are there, they'll be able to help you. So they go looking for Sugriv. Now Sugriv is staying on that mountain near Pampa Sarovar, Rishyamukh Parvat, because he's trying to run away from his brother Vali. Vali is trying to kill Sugriv, yeah? But Rishyamukh is the only place where Vali cannot enter. So Sugriv is staying there with 4 other ministers of his. So when Sugriv gets to know that these are 2 young men with these long dhanushya, they've come, they're around in this area, he becomes very scared. Because Sugriv thinks that Vali must have sent these 2 to kill him. So he becomes very nervous and very anxious, ki, Arey, kya ho jayega? They're going to kill me and stuff. That's when the entry of Hanumanji happens. So Hanumanji is one of the ministers of Sugriv and he says, Arey, you are a leader. You shouldn't be scared like this. We don't even know who those people are. So the first thing that we should do is figure out who they are. Maybe they are not sent by Vali, right? And we know that Vali has not sent anybody here till now. So let's keep calm and let's figure out who they are. So Sugriv says, yes, you have a point. Why don't you go and find out who these people are? Now in retellings of Ramayana, beyond Valmiki Ramayana, there are stories said that Hanumanji already knew that Sri Ram was going to come and all that and he was waiting for Sri Ram. Generally, aisa dikhate hain. But that's not how Valmiki Ramayana says. Okay, in the Valmiki Ramayana, which is Itihas, Hanumanji is a minister of Sugriv and he too does not know that Sri Ram is going to come.
Okay.
So he goes to find out who these 2 young men are. Now you're meeting strangers for the first time. How do you break the ice? I'm using terms which you use today. How do you break the ice, right? You start saying something that's nice. You start maybe giving them a compliment.
Comforting things.
Yeah, so say something nice so that they feel good about it. They feel that you're a nice, good, you're somebody they would want to talk to. And then they'll start telling you who they are, right? Many times flattery is used to get information out of people. So Hanumanji goes and he starts flattering these 2 men and he's like, who are you two? You look like some Deva Rishis. You look like princes. You need to be staying in a palace. Why are you in this forest? What are you doing in this forest? Look at your aura. Your aura is blinding everybody around here. Who are you two? Why are you here? But Sri Ram is also very smart. He also wants to know who this person is who has just suddenly come and who's flattering us. So Sri Ram also doesn't say anything. So Hanumanji keeps trying to flatter a little bit more. But Hanumanji realizes that no, it's not going to work with these two people. So he says, okay, I've been asking you, I've been trying to talk to you and you don't seem to speak to me. Okay, doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. I am a minister of Sugriv and Sugriv wants to become friends with you. So now he changes his tactics. And Sri Ram is listening to him and he smiles and he tells Lakshman, he says, look at this man. Look at his Vani. Look at his speech. So beautiful, so sweet. Look at his grammar. Now, why is he saying that? Because this conversation is happening in Sanskrit. He says, look at his grammar. There is not one mistake in his grammar. Look at his body language. Now, you study body language. You study energies, right? So, Sri Ram is doing exactly the same. He's observing Hanumanji. He's observing his energies. He's observing his intellect. He's observing his body language, his facial expressions. And Sri Ram says, he's perfect in every regard.
Wow.
Any man who has a person like this work for him, all his works will always get done. He says, Yasyaha guna gunai yuktaha. Anybody who has the qualities which this man has here, tasya siddhyarthi sarvartha. All his works will get done because he's so smart, he speaks so well. Nobody who's not learned in the Vedas and in grammar will be able to speak like this. So the first impression which Sri Ram has of Hanumanji is like this. Where Sri Ram is extremely
learned and perfect man.
Very learned, very smart, very strategic in thinking. Like, how do you talk to somebody who could be a danger to you? So that's what Hanumanji is trying to find out, right?
Yeah.
So that's how the first meeting goes. So in my book, Ramayana Unraveled, I have narrated this incident and this is like the first meeting and it has a long description of the various adjectives that Sri Ram has used for Hanumanji. So what has impressed Sri Ram is not his bhakti because that hasn't happened yet. What has impressed Sri Ram is the pure intellect of Hanumanji. Unki buddhi hai which has impressed Sri Ram.
Yeah.
So this happens and then Hanumanji, Lakshman says, yeah, we are also looking for Sugriv and they take him there. So this is the first meeting itself. And then you get lots of such examples of Hanumanji's intellect.
Exactly. So this shows that what he actually is beyond bhakti, because as you said, Sri Ram did not know his bhakti aspect at all by this meeting. Definitely. So ma'am, talking about his powers, I would clearly state from Hanuman Chalisa, there's a line which says, Ashta Siddhi Navnidhi Ke Data. And it's being said that as Hanumanji holds the Ashta Siddhis within himself, he can bless his devotee as well.
Right.
So I would love to know from you what Valmiki's Ramayana says about these Ashta Siddhi that Hanumanji holds.
So Valmiki Ramayana does not specify the word Ashta Siddhi. Okay. But what Valmiki Ramayana does is it tells us about the different siddhis which Hanumanji has shown during in the course of his life. Okay, in the Ramayana, in the time of the Ramayana. So what are those? First of all, Hanumanji does not know the powers he has. The first time he gets to know about it is when the search for Sita ji has started. Now, somehow, one group of the Vanaras that Sugriv has sent, they reached the seashore. Okay. And Sampati tells them that there is a chance, or he tells them that Sita is in Lanka. I can see with my eagle vision, I can see that Sita is in Lanka. And Lanka is about 100 yojans away. Now 100 yojans is about, say, one yojan is about, say, 13 kilometers.
Okay.
Roughly, it could be anywhere between 10 to 13 kilometers. So we're still talking about 1,000 kilometers away, right? So he says she's that far. Now, if you really want to go and check that she's there, somebody has to cross the 100 yojans of the Samudra, the sea over there. How to cross? So all the Vanars are thinking that how do we cross this? Somebody says, oh, I can do 10 yojans. Somebody else says, I can probably do 40 yojans. Somebody says, oh, I can probably go there, I can go 100 yojans, but I cannot come back because they have to go and come back, right? So I don't have that skill. And Hanumanji doesn't say anything. He's just sitting there listening to everybody. So Jamvan says, Are Hanuman, why aren't you saying anything? Don't you think you can do it? Sugriv has put his faith in you that you can do it. Why aren't you saying anything? Shouldn't you be volunteering to go there? And Hanumanji is listening to him that, how can I do this? It's so far away. We have to leap all across. And Jamvan then tells him that, don't you know what your strengths are? So Jamvant becomes that mentor, that guide, that guru to Hanumanji, who reminds him of his powers. And Hanumanji has had those powers. See, what happens is in Yoga Sutra, they talk about how does one become a yogi. Okay, so the Ashta Siddhi that we usually talk about, what are those? Laghavam, vagere, vagere. So either you can float on the ground, off the ground, yeah, that is one. Either you can become very small, chote se ho jate ho, or you can expand your body. You can read minds of people. All of these are Ashta Siddhis. Yeah. These Siddhis are something which yogis have. Patanjali Yoga Sutra lists down these 8 Siddhis. Ashta Siddhi jo kaha hai na, wo Yoga Sutra mein aapko milti hai. So Patanjali Rishi says that by following the path of yoga, a yogi can achieve these 8 Siddhis. But how does one become a yogi? He says one is through practice, where he talks about the Ashtanga Yoga, and it takes a long time. But he says some are born with it. Maybe due to their past janma sanskaras or grace of God or anything. So some are born with it. But yogi, so what is the quality of a yogi? By and large, yogi is somebody who is very calm in his head, who does not take decisions driven by impulses. Mujhe ye chahiye, I want this, I'm angry, my jealousy, my greed. No, they're beyond that. They have the clarity what to do when. They have the clarity to say what matters when. Not me. But is there happiness of everyone? Is there well-being of everyone involved? So that is the brahadta, that is the large-heartedness of yogis. And when you become that over time with your mind completely in your control, that's when some of these siddhis start coming. So as I said, some of them already have that. Hanumanji is a yogi since birth. He has been born with all these qualities because, as I said, he was to become a nimitta in Sri Ram's journey. Yeah. So he's born with those skills. Now there is a story which says that when he was young, he had these skills, but he's a child, no?
Yeah, he was.
It's very easy, very naughty, and a child does not really know how to use those siddhis well, so they get misused. And he would use that to maybe harass some rishis and stuff. So some rishi said that you'll forget your siddhis. And when the right time comes, when they have to become useful to the world, they will come back to you. Otherwise, these siddhis can be misused. These siddhis which are meant for the greater good, for the betterment of the society, will be used to destroy the society, right? So, Hanumanji has been given that vardhan, if I may. It's not a curse, because it is said that whenever the right time comes, it will come back to you. And this is that time when now Jamvant is narrating this story to Hanumanji and he says, Are, realize your potential, you can do it. If anybody amongst us can, you are the one who's meant to do this. And when Jamvant starts instilling that confidence in Hanumanji, he starts realizing his inner power. Many a times this happens when we're very confused in life. When we think, it's all done, I can't do it. Yeah. And somebody tells us, somebody puts that belief in us, I know you can. Because we can. It's just that at that point, we've forgotten that we can, right?
I think we all need a Jamvant in our lives.
Absolutely.
I feel that so strongly.
A Hanuman also needs a Jamvant.
Yes.
Hum to kya, kis khet ki muli hai, right? Yeah. So just somebody who can say, you can do it. I know you can. You have the strength. Remember, you had done that before, right? You can do it. Yeah. So that's when the Shaktis of Hanumanji start manifesting themselves. And what happens? One of those Ashtasiddhis where you can grow your body large. So Hanumanji starts expanding himself because to take that leap, he has to become huge. So he starts, so Ashtasiddhi, while not mentioned like, oh, he has Ashtasiddhis, you see them happen. So he expands his body and then he takes the leap. Now there's a beautiful story in between that, which again shows how intelligent Hanumanji is. So there is this, we are told that the gods decide to test Hanumanji. That how, is he really that smart? People say he's very smart, but is he really that smart? So they tell Surasa, who is the Nagamata, they tell her to test Hanumanji's intellect. So Surasa ji says yes, and she takes the shape of a demon and she obstructs the way of Hanumanji when he's going to Lanka. And she says, I have been given a blessing that whoever comes to me himself is my food. So now you've come to me, you are my food. So I have to eat you now. That is how it is. I can't let you go ahead. And Hanumanji is like, Arey, but I am meant to do a bigger task. I have to go find Sita Ma. Sri Ram is waiting for her. But Surasa is like, no, nothing doing. You are my food now. You've come to me, you are my food. You cannot leave without entering my mouth. So Hanumanji now thinks how to smartly get around this. He says, okay. And he has started realizing his siddhis as well, right? He says, okay, fine. I will enter your mouth. But I can only enter your mouth if you can open your mouth large enough for me. So she's like, oh, don't you think I can open my mouth? How big are you? And Hanumanji starts expanding his body further. So Surasa also starts expanding her body, her mouth to get hold of Hanumanji's body. And when her mouth is big enough, Hanumanji contracts. He becomes Chotusa, enters her mouth like a makhi. Okay. And comes out before she can shut it because it's a huge mouth, right? वो मुंह खोला हुआ बंद करना है. So she has to close her mouth. But in that span of time, he enters and comes out. And he's like, see, I have entered your mouth. You told me I can't go ahead without entering your mouth. Now I've entered your mouth and now I have to go. So everybody is like very happy that how smartly he did it. He didn't get stressed. He used his intelligence to get through a difficult situation. That is why Buddhimatam Varishtham. So anyways, this was just a test. And then he reaches Lanka.
So ma'am, it's impossible that when we talk about Hanumanji, we don't talk about Sri Ram. So, we often hear sages and saints say that wherever Ram Katha is recited, Hanumanji is present. Why do you think is this belief so strong?
So, the way Valmiki Ramayana ends. So, there is a controversy on that, whether Uttarkand is a part of Ramayana or not. Okay, that is a controversy around that. However, the end of Uttarkand is such that Sri Ram has finished his Leela on earth. Yeah, because everybody Avatar has to go back. No, it's a Purush Rupa. So, whatever takes Janma has to eventually leave this body and go. So, now it's time for Sri Ram to also leave the earth and go. And he takes that call. And some people want to go with him. So Sugriv also decides that my time is also over. Now I should also give up my body. So Sugriv makes Angad the Raja. And Hanumanji also wants to go. But Hanumanji is told by Sri Ram that no, you don't come. You wait here. You wait here and you ensure that the Ram Katha, this story of my life, stays on planet Earth. Why? So that people keep learning from it. Now, this is the Valmiki Ramayana version, right? Where we are told that Itihas is meant to teach us lessons for life, something that we can learn for our own lives, so that we live our life better, we take our decisions better. That is one story. There are many other stories, wo Anguthiyan wali hai, that where Hanumanji is saying, no, Sri Ram, you can't go. And Sri Ram tricks him and says, oh, I've lost my Anguthi, you go and come back. And Hanumanji realizes that Sri Ram keeps coming. And then he realizes the Ram Tattva. And he decides to stay back so that the Ram story, or people keep knowing the Ram story. Now, the reason why Sri Ram has asked him to be here is to ensure that the Ram Katha is prevalent everywhere, right? Now, obviously then where the Ram Katha is happening, Hanumanji has to be there. In that sense, that Buddhi Tattva and the Bhakti Tattva. Every time you remember Sri Ram, that Tattva is the Hanuman Tattva, right? Because he is the one who's spreading that Tattva. He is the one ensuring that the Tattva comes into you and me.
So he is somewhere the source also, if I can say.
For all of us, yes. He is the source. He is the one who takes it everywhere. He is the one who embeds it in us. So if we are Ram Bhaktas, somewhere we have that Hanuman Tattva in us.
Yeah, we have
So that's
to be.
what we
That's
are.
why
Yes.
it flows from us. Very beautifully explained. So now, ma'am, as I talked about Hanumanji, I'm sure Hanuman Chalisa is one Chalisa that no matter if you follow Sanatan Dharma or not, one would be aware about it. Why do you think what makes Hanuman Chalisa so powerful that when people listen to it, they can feel Hanumanji's power within themselves? They can let go of the fear. Why?
So Hanuman Chalisa is not in Valmiki Ramayana. Hanuman Chalisa has been composed by Tulsidas ji.
Ji.
Tulsidas ji, when he was composing the Manas, so he himself says that the inspiration of composing the Manas comes from Shivji himself. Okay, and Tulsidas ji is writing a bhakti grantha for his own Ishta, which is Sri Ram, and we are told that he becomes Hanumanji himself, right? Also, the prowess of Tulsidas ji. See now, anybody who is talking about Sri Ram has become a nimitta of Sri Ram's will to make it happen.
Yeah.
Tulsidas ji is in that lineage, right? Who has made, as I said before, the Manas, Ramcharit Manas has ensured that the Ram Naam stays relevant even today. So, in a way, what Tulsidas ji has done is he has fulfilled the very purpose of Hanumanji staying back on planet Earth, right? So,
Agreed.
when we say that Hanumanji is a Chiranjeevi and he keeps living, could it be that every now and then somebody comes who has that Hanuman Tattva and ensures that the Ram Naam stays prevalent? Now, somebody who's so deeply into Ram Bhakti, who sees himself as that Hanuman Tattva, he is also a yogi-like, and whatever comes from the mouth of the yogi, when it comes with that bhav and shraddha, the words themselves carry those energies, right? Hanuman Chalisa is one of those. हम मंत्र की बात करते हैं. What are mantras? Mantras are something which our rishis had seen. They had come to them. Why they had seen? Because they say these mantras are energies which existed and they manifested in words by way of the rishis. Hanuman Chalisa is one of them. That's how I see it. And it is that bhav and shraddha of Hanumanji, of Sri Ram, that has manifested through the words of Tulsidas ji. Now, why do people get attracted to it? People will get attracted to anything which gives them strength when they see the results. And Hanuman Chalisa has proven its power. Who am I to say whether it's powerful or not? People have experienced it, right? And experience will always last. And what happens is when you know that it is powerful, you will say also with Shraddha. And when you do something with Shraddha, with belief, with conviction, obviously you will do it well. And you manifest that positivity that the Hanuman Chalisa is anyways meant to bring to you.
And I think, when so many people add so much energy to a particular,
Correct.
mantra or Chalisa, it becomes more powerful.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's
the collective
faith
energy.
Of it's the faith of people that has made it so powerful. Now, if I quote one more line from Hanuman Chalisa itself, and it goes like, Bhoot pisach nikat nahi aave, Mahabir jab naam sunave. Why do you think out of all the Devi Devtas, Hanumanji has that power to, let go of the fear of ghosts? Why are negative energies so scared of Hanumanji?
I'm not the right person to answer that, but I will attempt an answer.
Okay.
It is not just Hanumanji. People say that about Devi also, na?
Yeah.
So if you chant the Devi mantras, the name of the Devi, that will also keep Bhoot Pishach away. But Hanumanji is a symbol of strength. Hanumanji is the symbol of resolve. Hanumanji is a symbol of courage. जब करेज है, जब शौर्य है, जब वीर्य है, when you have power, courage, conviction, श्रद्धा, भक्ति, when all of that comes together, किसी की बाप की मजाल है जो आपको कुछ कर पाए. भूत पिशाच क्या है? So what is Hanuman Chalisa or any such mantra chanting doing, right? It is creating it is giving a boost to your own positive energy, and whenever there is positive energy, the negative energies will keep away. So it is what it is. Now I'm sure somebody else might have a different view on it. This is how I see it, because I don't think there is one answer to it. Ki why does Hanumanji keep it away? Because whoever believes in their Ishta, they obviously believe that Ishta will keep it away.
Yeah.
Right? So, because we believe in Hanumanji, this manifests for us as well. The other thing is, Hanumanji has fought the Rakshasas. Who are the Rakshasas? They are the Bhoot, they are all the negative energies, right?
Energies themselves.
And what is negative energy in a way? Why is it that we want to keep Bhoot, Pishach and everybody away? What do they do? In a way, they corrupt our buddhi.
Yeah.
What is it that corrupts our buddhi? There are Shadaripus, which we say, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya. Greed, anger, lust, desire, jealousy, right? The Rakshasas, the Bhoot, Pishach, they basically stand for that. And what is Hanumanji? Exactly the opposite of all that. Selfless service, strength, resolve, intellect, right? So when you call him, the others will themselves run away.
Yeah.
So in a way, these are the attributes or the qualities given a personified form. So that's the more symbolic way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's like complete positive energy standing in front of complete negative
Correct.
energy. Definitely. So, ma'am, we also talked about Shiva, and as I said in the beginning itself, that how, Shiva and Hanumanji both came into my life. And there are many traditions, especially Puranic traditions, which clearly say that Hanumanji is a Rudra avatar of Shiva. How true is that, and how do you see it from your own research?
So, Valmiki Ramayana does not call Hanumanji as Rudra avatar.
Okay.
Valmiki Ramayana calls Hanumanji as Vayuputra. Okay. But Shiva Puran very clearly says Hanumanji is a Rudra avatar. Okay. So there are two different belief systems in this. I believe that at the end of the day, all of us have some Deva Tattva. Some of us have realized it, others have not.
Yeah.
Okay, very few have realized it, but there are people who do. And Hanumanji obviously was a yogi. Yeah. He obviously had that intellect. He obviously had that power and the courage. What is Rudra? Rudra is somebody who has a strong resolve and fears for the opponents, for the negative energies, right? That Hanumanji obviously is. So in that sense, does he have the Rudra Tattva? Definitely he has the Rudra Tattva. Does he have the Vayu characteristics, which is strength, speed, not speed only physical, the mental. We are told that he is as fast as the thoughts in your brain. That is his speed. And he thinks very fast, and he's also very, very intelligent. So, if you look at these qualities, obviously he has definitely the Vayu Tattva, but he has the Rudra Tattva as well. So, from an avatar perspective, as I said, Shiva Puran very clearly says he's a Rudra avatar. Valmiki Ramayana does not mention it clearly. It says Vayuputra. But at the end of the day, all these things are what you want to believe. आपको जिसमें शांति मिलती है, whatever you see him as, he is that for you. And that goes for all divine energies.
Because despite of other Devi Devtas, they associated Hanumanji with Shiva only. So that's where my curiosity came from, that why only Shiva?
That's what I said, not just Shiva, it's Vayu also. The thing is, the way we see things now are based on stories which have become more popular. Based more on the Puranic stories. Shiv Puran, Vishnu Puran and all of that, right? And then stories get retold based on some of these belief systems as well. In that, Hanumanji has become more well known as a Rudra Tattva. But as I said, Valmiki Ramayana is very clear about his Vayu Tattva as well. So Vayu, he's a Vayu Putra. He's an Ansh of Vayu. Shiva Puran is an Ansh of Rudra.
Yeah, makes sense. So, ma'am, are there any more hidden powers to Hanumanji which are not very commonly talked about? There are different traditions, different theories that say almost the same thing about Hanumanji. But do you, from your own research, know certain powers of Hanumanji that are not commonly talked about?
So, one thing which, again, as I said, for me, the attributes of Hanumanji in Valmiki Ramayana, they appeal to me the most. And the reason is, it is not magical. The reason is, His powers are something all of us can inculcate within ourselves. In Valmiki Ramayana, he has a lot of siddhis, he has a lot of gunas, lot of virtues, lot of strengths, but he himself, as I said, was not aware of it, and then they come to him. But even after that, in a lot of situations, he is like us. He gets confused. He starts having negative thoughts. But his strength is, he always brings his focus back. Let me tell you one story. Okay, when Hanumanji is trying to find Sita ji in Lanka, he goes around, he doesn't see her at all. He has looked into nook and corner of Lanka, cannot find Sita ji. And he's like, oh my God, I have not found her. Now if I have to go back and I have to tell Sugriv and Shriram that I did not find her, what will happen to them? Shriram obviously will become very sad. If he becomes sad and he loved his wife so much, he will die. If he dies, Lakshman will die. If Lakshman dies, Bharat will die. If the sons die, all the matas will die. If they all get destroyed, Sugriv, who loves them, he will get destroyed. Oh my God, if my going back is going to create so much destruction, what do I do? So so things don't go according to our wish. We all get stressed, right? He's also gotten super stressed. Then he's like, oh, then maybe I shouldn't go back. Because if I go back and I tell them that I couldn't find Sita ji, everybody will die. So let me not go back. Instead, let me only die here. Let me give up my life here. Because what's the point?
Such thoughts?
He had such thoughts. So that's what. So he's so real.
Really?
Yeah.
Hanumanji
had these thoughts. This is Valmiki Ramayana. This is Sundarkand. Okay. So he has these thoughts and he's like, forget it. Let me not go back. Let me just give up my life here. That's what I will do. I will die. So that I don't have to go and give this news. Then he's thinking, why should I die? I should rather take this Ravan away. Let me take him to Shriram and let him be punished. He is the one who created all this problem, no? Why should I die? So then, see how our brain works.
Yeah.
This is how it works for all of us, right?
Yes, exactly.
ये कर देते हैं, वो कर देते हैं. नहीं, ऐसे क्यों करूँ? मैं क्यों करूँ? उसी को कराती हूँ. Whatever.
One thought to the other.
One thought to the other. Then he says, he shakes himself up and he says, no, stop thinking this. Have I really put in all efforts? Why am I allowing this negativity to get to me? Bhoot pishach nikate nahi aave. This is exactly that, right?
Yeah.
What are these bhoot pishach? Thoughts, energies which are deluding you, which are taking you away from the path that you want to take. He just shakes them off and he says, no. Have I really looked enough? What is my goal right now? My goal is to look for Sita ji. Let all these negative, because what happens when negative emotions come? You lose confidence, right? You lose your will to work. So he says, no, just let these all just go away and I have to still do my work. And he says, maybe that part of the one I have not looked at yet. Let me now go and look at it. And then he pulls himself out of that doubts and that anxiety that he's having and he goes and looks for Sita Ma. Now when finally he sees Sita Ma sitting there in Ashok Vatika, right? So there she's sitting there and now he's thinking, how do I approach her? Because Sita ji doesn't know who he is, right? And Sita ji obviously had a very bad experience with Ravan when he came as a rishi, he came as a sadhu, right? To get her. Now if suddenly he goes there, she might get scared just looking at him. And if she gets scared, the Rakshasis around will know that Hanumanji has or somebody has come here and they might capture him. And the entire plan of taking Sita Ma or going back to tell Shriram that Sita ji is found would go waste, right? Because he would be captured.
Yeah.
So he's like, then how do I get her attention without scaring her? So he thinks. Then he says, oh, maybe if I take the Ramanama, if I start singing his story, she might not get scared. Again, how do you break the ice? How do you say words in a way that is soothing to somebody and doesn't scare them? So he starts singing the story of Shriram. That how he left Lanka, how he came with his wife, this, that, all that. And then when he started seeing all this, Sita ji is thinking, oh, am I really hearing this right? Somebody's talking about Ram. So that hope has come in her, right? And she starts looking and she notices him. And then slowly he comes to her. And she doesn't get scared because now she's at peace. She's calm and she wants to know who this is. So you see how he's using his head and his utsaha to not get carried away by the negative emotions, because we all have it. Hum sab mein hai. It's an effort through our intelligence, through dhriti, drishti, mati and daksha, to keep them away and still do what you must do. That resolve shakti, that sankalpa shakti is Hanumanji. And that is what I love the most about him.
Yes, and today we learned all those powers of Hanumanji through you, and what a beautiful and insightful discussion this was. I'm really so pleased, and I'm very grateful that I got this chance to do this podcast with you. So thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
ma'am.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. So this was Hanumanji for you through Ami ma'am's eyes. And see, today we did not only discuss the mystical side of Hanumanji, but more human traits of Hanumanji, which make him as human as each one of us. And as she said, there's a lot that we can learn from his strength, from his powers. And I hope you definitely learned a lot from today's podcast as well. And this was clearly my intention, to get to know more things about Hanumanji that commonly are not talked about. And I hope this intention is pretty much successful by the end of this discussion. So do tell me how much you liked today's podcast and share it as much as you can. And if you are a Hanumanji devotee as well, do let me know in the comment section. Type Jai Shri Ram if you want to. And I'll see you in the next one. This is Rangoli Sharma with you. Namaste.